magnificently dimensional, greater than the mediocrity that you've been told to accept. I want you to imagine for a moment that this is you. When we, as humans, when we look at ourselves, what we do is we look at ourselves in a variety of ways. We usually look at ourselves in a mirror. That's the only real way we usually see ourselves, or on a camera or something that reflects an image of us. But when we look at ourselves, we see ourselves from what we can call a single vision perspective. In other words, we see ourselves from our own perception, our own perspective. So when I look at Dion, for example, what do I see? I see merely the perception that I have about myself. If you look at the people around you, that surround you in your world, if you've got a life partner, how does your life partner look at you? Because they look at you from a different angle. When you look at your teachers, your preachers, your peers, your colleagues, your family members, people you work with, people you play with, if you look at a variety of people around the world, and even in the Zoom room now, earlier when we entered, if you look at all the other people in this room and how they look at you, I want you to realize something in your brain, that everybody's looking at you from a unique perspective. So if you were standing in the middle of a circle and there were 10 people standing around you, you would have a perception about yourself, and every single person standing around you would have a different perception about you. Now, when we go through life as humans, what we do is we frame our reality about ourselves based on the reflection or the perception we have of self. But the reality is that we are more than that. You see, we limit our own personal belief about who we are, what we are capable of, what our abilities in life are, the effect and the impact we have on people and the world. We limit that belief based on the perception we have of self. But the real truth, or let's call it the bigger truth, is that the real us, the real me, is not the perception I have of me. The real me is the perception that everybody has of me. It's the combined, this massive amount of perceptions. When you look at self, you see yourself in a singular plane, and let's call it a dimension of self. But if someone else looks at you, they look at you from a different plane, and let's call that a second dimension of self. When a third person looks at you, they have a third dimension of self. So let me ask you a very simplistic question. How many real and actual dimensions of self is out there in the real world? And how many are you actually aware of? All of those dimensions, or all of those perceptions of self, is in fact to you, the real you, the absolute you, the complete you. Have you ever peeled an orange, where you take a knife and you slice it into pieces, and then you peel it piece by piece? And every time you take off a peel or a section of the skin, you see more of the orange itself. So the orange, even though it is inside of the skin and inside of the peel, as you unpeel, it starts revealing itself in layers, in sections, piece by piece. When we look at ourselves, we look at ourselves merely out of the viewpoint or from the perception or the dimension of only one section of this orange peel being taken off. And we see only but a small part of self. We live our lives, we act accordingly We make decisions based on the perception of what we have revealed about ourselves to ourselves. But the real you is the full fruit. It's that magnificent, glorious, multiple section combination of the viewpoint, the perception of everybody else looking towards you. Imagine there's 10 people around you. Firstly, identify those 10 people. Take 10 people that are close to you, that you know well, that you spend a lot of time with. Name them. Give 10 people around you names. All 10. Now ask yourself, when that person looks at me, what do they see in me? That's amazing. That's positive. That's phenomenal. That's life-changing. That's a gift to the world. That's part of me that I don't always notice. And imagine for a moment that that is not something they notice about you, but that is a gift they give you. Now, if someone gives you a gift, you're going to take the gift, you're going to unwrap it, you're going to open it up, and you're going to accept the gift. If we go through life and we start realizing that the perception other people have about us, the positive perception that other people have about us, the moment we start to realize that that is in fact a beautiful, positive, empowering, magnificent, life-changing, inspiring, motivational, inspirational gift that they're actually giving us of noticing the greatness in you, then that will start shifting the belief you have about self. If you do this once, you're going to feel great for a time. Maybe for a day, maybe for an hour. Maybe you might even feel great for a week. But what if you do this every single morning, every single day of your life? You choose 10 people and you ask yourself, what is the perception you have of me? Now, one of the concepts we have as humans is we humble. You know, if you see someone for the first time, you haven't seen them for a while, and they look at you and they say, you look great. You go, you know, it's nothing. Or they look at you and they say, you know, I don't know what you've done to your hair, but it looks fantastic. Then and I know the ladies do this because I see this. You know what the ladies usually say? You know, I just threw this together quickly this morning. I call that a false sense of humility. You see, what we're doing is we're taking a wonderful gift that person is giving us. We're unwrapping it. And we're diminishing the value of it. We're turning that gift into dust. We're turning that beautiful gift someone has just given us, and we're not attaching the true value of it. We need to learn to realize and listen and become aware of what is the positive impression other people have about us. Identify that impression, name it, accept it, embrace it. Choose 10 people that can stand around you. Identify the positive, amazing traits that they see in you. Name 5 and verbalize them out loud. Give 5 a name. Give it a name. You see, the moment we give something a name, it becomes real. The moment we give something a name, it becomes real. That's the way we operate. The moment I give something a name, I give it recognition. I give it truth. I give it value. The moment I give something a name, I often start falling in love with it. If you buy an animal, if you buy a pet dog, have you noticed the moment you give it a name, there's a special connection? If you bring a child into this world, the moment you give it a name, what we're doing on a subconscious level, we're saying, I have given this an identity. I have confirmed the fact that this is alive. This is real. So when those 10 people stand around you and they give you positive perceptions, give those perceptions a name. Make it real. Call it awesomeness, greatness, amazingness. Call it thinker, speaker, writer. Call it parent, call it lover, call it change agent, call it life catalyst, call it coach, call it whatever you want to, but give it a name. The moment you've given it a name, it's yours, you own it, you've bonded with it, it's now part of your family. Now it becomes easier for you to pull it in and accept it. But that's not all. That's not where this concept is going to end. And this is the concept that I've been practicing now for a couple of months. Every day I stand up and I choose 10 people and I ask, what is it in that person? What does that person see in me that is a different perception about me? That's a different dimension about me that I am not aware of. What does that person see? Does that person see awesomeness, greatness, inspiration? What is it? I give it a name. And I see 10 people and I identify 5 concepts that these people see in me. I give it a name. Once I've given it a name, I ask the next question. What behavior in me do I need to manifest? What behavior in me do I need to act out today? What behavior in me do I need to step into, take action in to justify that perception? So I take the perception, I give it a name, I make it real, I give it life. Then I ask the following question. What action justifies that perception? What action do I need to take to step into that role and justify that perception those people have about me? A lot of people at the moment are looking for different results, more results, better results. And what we do very often is we think, how can I achieve results? That's the wrong approach. Don't push results. Find the true you, the real you, not the perception you have of you. The magnificent, multidimensional, multi-layered, phenomenal perception of the real you. Find that. Make it yours. Step up, step into it. Start behaving and acting accordingly. Results have got no choice but to follow. Success has got no choice but to become your true destiny. You see, if we chase success, we're chasing the wrong thing. What we need to do is we need to realize success is merely a result of actions and repeated behaviors. And I did say the word repeated behaviors, because here's the key. If I merely do this once or twice, it will push me a little bit, it will make me great. But we are creatures of habit, and we love going to our default behavior. And our default behavior is based on the perception I have of self. If I repeat this constantly, what I'm doing is I'm literally reprogramming my subconscious mind. I'm reprogramming my own belief about self. I'm reprogramming my internal dialogue I have. I'm reprogramming the type of decisions I make in life. I'm reprogramming the type of behaviors and actions I start doing. I'm reprogramming the experience I'm starting to have in my life. I'm reprogramming the type of feedback and responses I'm getting. I'm reprogramming my full belief system, and I'm starting to create an incredibly powerful new behavior and belief cycle in my own life. And the result of this is magnificence, true magnificence. Too many of us live in default state of false mediocrity, of false humbleness. Mediocrity is only acceptable by the mediocre. You are not mediocre. You are phenomenal. But you want to make this truly manifest in your life, which means you need to do this through a repetition of behavior. This is not something that we can start off today, do for 3 days, change happens, and now I'm in a state of bliss for the rest of my life. This is a discipline we need to apply. This is not something where you're going to wake up in the morning and now you're going to feel motivated to do this. Motivation is merely a result of actions. We need to realize this is a discipline I apply every single day. Every single day. I repeat this behavior every morning when I wake up. First thing I do is I go through the cycle very quickly. If you learn to do it fast, this is a 2-3 minute exercise because my brain is now tuned into it, and I repeat this over and over. So what I'm doing is I'm making this my new normal. I am making this my default behavior. Greatness now becomes the average. Now let me ask you this question. If you keep doing this for the next 6 months of your life, how high is your ceiling that you can break? How magnificent can you truly become? How tremendous results can you start achieving? What if after 6 months, the perception people have about you rises and you start taking this to another level and to another level and to another level, non-stop for the next number of years in your life? What will be the response? What will be the reaction? How tremendously magnificent can you become? You are by far more magnificently dimensional, greater than the mediocrity that you've been told to accept. Just because from birth up until now, you've been limited, you've been chained down, does not mean that rule applies from now to the rest of your life. Break your ceiling and enjoy it.